Joining me on the program today is Congresswoman Elise Stefanik from my home state of New York. Ms. Stefanik, Congresswoman, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you, Billy.
So I want to read a quote that you recently put out there about New York State, and I don't know what the hell is happening out there. I thought the politics in Arizona had problems, but your home state has a lot of problems right now. You said, this is the culmination of the cult of corruption rampant in the New York Democrat Party. Governor Hochul, we know, Chinese spy. We know what happened with Governor Cuomo, allegations, corruption. And now New York City Mayor Adams, as we speak, Congresswoman, is going down. What is going on out there in the Northeast?
This is a sense of entitlement that has taken over the Democrat Party today. Corruption is rampant. We've known this as New Yorkers. In Albany and in New York City, Democrats have had the supermajority, and they have used that power to help themselves rather than helping the people across New York State. So it's very interesting. You've seen Republicans make significant inroads in the state of New York the past two cycles. We picked up those 5 congressional seats that flipped last cycle, which is why we have the House Republican majority. We had a statewide gubernatorial candidate in Lee Zeldin who did very well, and we have President Trump who has higher favorability ratings than Kathy Hochul. And this is traditionally considered a blue state. Donald Trump did exceptionally well. He's going to do even better this cycle. But it's not just New York Democrats, Billy. Look at Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. Look at Kamala Harris, who is directly tied to the Biden administration as his vice president, who has brushed under the rug the major corruption scandals of the Biden family, specifically Hunter Biden. So this corruption issue is a problem for today's Democrat Party. And I know in Arizona, we're seeing that as well, that they're in the Democrat Party, you're seeing them thinking they're entitled to voters, shredding election integrity, and it's Republicans who are standing up for good government and for election integrity across the country.
It was very interesting, the Trump campaign, Donald Trump himself out there in New York campaigning. I mean, let's be realistic. I've followed your career for a long time. You're an extremely intelligent woman. Does the Trump campaign actually believe that he could win New York State, or is this sort of just, kind of for the media blitz? Why was he campaigning in your home state?
You know, President Trump, the media never gives him enough credit, but he is one of the best probably the best political strategist in going places that everyone says Republican candidates shouldn't go. He is a believer in New York. He is obviously a New Yorker, a native New Yorker, and is deeply tied to the state, although he resides in Florida now. And he knows how important it is to hold the House and pick up seats, and he knows every congressional seat in New York. When we talk, he is up to speed on all the politics, and he wants to make sure he has that sizable majority. And I believe that President Trump is closing the gap in New York and that he can potentially win New York. Why? Because we have the least popular governor, even less popular than Andrew Cuomo, our disgraced former governor, in Kathy Hochul. You have a New York City mayor that was just indicted for corruption, similar to the communist Chinese spy that had infiltrated the New York Democrat governor's office. So President Trump was right to do there. He got a hero's welcome from law enforcement, from hardworking New Yorkers. Tens and tens of thousands of people came out in a rally. You think Kamala Harris can get that? No way.
Well, a lot of my fellow New Yorkers, Ms. Stefanik, would like to see you run for governor someday. Is that in the cards?
You know, I am really focused on this election is the most important one in our lifetime, and it is so important that we win states for President Trump like Arizona, like Nevada, like North Carolina, to get this done to save our country. And it's the American people that are going to save the country. Certainly in New York, I'm proud to be the longest serving New York Republican and most senior New York Republican, and we are going to go on offense and make sure that we have a good slate of candidates up and down the ballot. I love my job as the representative for New York's 21st District, and this is the first time a New York Republican has been in top leadership in nearly 100 years. So we deserve a seat at the table. We have a seat at the table, and I'm going to continue fighting, and I'm proud to be one of President Trump's strongest allies. But we need you, Arizonans. We need Arizona to vote for Trump, and I know that early voting is right around the corner, and that's going to be very important as well.
We had Laura Trump on the program a couple of days ago, and she was reflecting on what it's like to be a Trump given the times right now. 2 attempts on the former president's life. Now we have all these reports of Iran trying to assassinate the former president. You were with Donald Trump last week. What is his mindset? What is his mental health right now? Like, how is he behind the scenes? How do you keep going when you know that there's a bounty on your head?
President Trump is the strongest, most tireless, energetic candidate I have ever met. And I've met a lot of different candidates. And President Trump is so committed to saving the country, really saving Western civilization if you look at what's going on around the world. And he is not going to let the Democrats' vitriol, viciousness, threats of violence hold him back from speaking to the American people. So I am inspired. I am energized every day. You know, I saw President Trump when he gave two very important speeches about his record of combating anti-Semitism and his record of standing with Israel. And we were with him till about 11 p.m. before he got on the plane to fly back to Florida after doing 7 events that day. Meanwhile, you see Kamala Harris cocooned, not allowed to do interviews, not interacting with everyday voters. You know, one of her only trips to the border is today to try to cover up her catastrophic failure as Joe Biden's open borders are. So he is tireless, and that's the type of energy this country deserves, and that's what he brought to the White House, and that's what he will bring again.
So, Elise Stefanik, we'll finish up with this. We know that inflation, the economy, certainly here in Arizona, the border is a major issue for people on both sides of the aisle here. But something we've been talking a lot about on the show lately is these foreign wars. And obviously, you see what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. Zelensky was just here. He was in Pennsylvania with Shapiro signing missiles, which I thought was extremely bizarre. And then we see things ramping up even further in the Middle East with Gaza, Israel, Lebanon, Hamas, Hezbollah, the whole thing. It just seems like our world is on fire right now. So you have been a strong supporter of Israel, and you have really supported them all the way through this. This war is expanding. How does this thing finally come to an end? And do you believe that if we have a Trump administration, he can continue to fight for world peace?
Well, let's look at the first Trump administration. President Trump had a tremendous record of peace through strength. The world was at peace. Look at the Middle East. You had the breakthrough of the Abraham Accords, the first step towards peace normalization in more than a quarter century. It was the first time of any modern-day president shifting to Russia, where Putin didn't invade another country. So that peace through strength was strong deterrence because they saw a strong commander-in-chief. Compare that to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You had the catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan that led to the loss of 13 service members, and now, horrifically, those poor 13 Gold Star families who I've had the opportunity to speak to, and yet Joe Biden hasn't even hasn't spent any time with them. President Trump has spent many days with those families. But the world saw that catastrophic withdrawal. You had Putin invading Ukraine, and of course you had the October 7th attacks from Hamas against Israel. Israel, of course, is our most precious ally in the region and around the world. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris turned their back on our most precious ally. So President Trump will bring peace because he has done it before. He did it for 4 years, and he will do it again. It is outrageous that Zelensky, coordinating with the White House and the Department of Defense, used U.S. military aircraft, i.e. taxpayer dollars, to sign missiles with Josh Shapiro in a swing state in Pennsylvania. It outrages the American people, and it's President Trump that is going to bring peace back around the world.
Yeah, you know, like I said, inflation, the border, all of these things, crime, very important. You look at the polls, and those are like the top issues. But it seems like as we get closer to November 5th, these foreign wars ramping up, they could be a major, major factor. Thank you so much, Congresswoman, for coming on the show. We hope to see you out here in Arizona, and I'll go ahead and say it, as a fellow New Yorker, I think you're going to be our governor one day. So thank you so much, and we'll see you out here in Arizona down the road.
Thanks, Billy. We got to focus on electing Trump, so make sure all the voters turn out in Arizona. Thank you.
All righty. My name is Billy Harfosh, broadcasting from Star Worldwide Networks in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. There she is, one of the most popular politicians in America, Congresswoman from New York, Elise Stefanik. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll be back with more explosive interviews. Awesome. She's so smart.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Billy.
Oh, thank you so much.
Where are you from in New York?
Oh, I'm a Syracuse boy.
Oh my God! So you're an upstater. That's great. I could tell I liked you.
I'm just an old school Labatt Blue drinking upstater.
That's great. So my district, I live in Saratoga, and I was born right around the Capital Region.
That's
and
right.
I go Watertown. I have all the Adirondacks in my
21.
district.
That's right. And when we have you back on, a lot of people in Arizona don't realize we have a border up there too. And I know you've been on top of that. And there's issues up there. So we'll keep in touch down the road.
Okay. Thanks, Billy.
Okay. Bye now. Have a great day.
Bye.